Yo, yo. What is up? Okay. Been doing a little thinking. Using the noggin. Hopefully audio's okay. Whatever. Wait, let me check actually. Levels. I don't know. Maybe desktop audio is like gigalow, but let's see, do this. No ads, please. Okay. Sick. So let's let's delete. Okay. Anyway, okay, so league start, like I was talking about before, I think I'm settling on Chonk. It's gonna be really strong, I think. Like, your damage is pretty much solved, right? The main thing is just defense at that point, kind of. You get, while you're mapping, you get potentially 70% damage as extra chaos. Which is pretty good, right? Like, overall, that's like, and then of course on single target, and maybe during mapping too, who knows, it depends on the volatility stuff. And you could take this wheel here too to like gain volatility on kill, so you have it up when mapping, and maybe you can link, what is that, Catharsis or something, whatever the one that like randomly detonates volatility on you after like skill use or whatever. But you need 20 volatility to use this skill. That's the only issue, right? That could be really good. Anyway, 200% damage as extra chaos is massive, right? So, yeah, Plague Bearer will just nuke everything. I think hopefully it should make up for the deepest tower loss. That's the biggest thing. Anyway, so I've been PoEing it a little bit, right? I mean, like, this is, like, completely unoptimized, not even, like, super realistic. I did configure the damage, so this is with, yeah, I don't even have, like, I don't have rings or anything, right? So I'm trying to, like, lowball it a lot and just kind of get a feel for, like, what it's gonna look like. Anyway, and this tree, obviously the tree's changing a lot, so who knows, this probably isn't the final. And I mean, level 97, like, I need to cut points and stuff for sure. Okay, but the idea is, yeah, Plague Bearer as your clear skill. With Trample Toe, you just one-shot the screen. With all your gain is extra and all that. That's pretty strong. So, what about single target? I mean, if you can get your Plague Bearer stacked on single target, it'll do damage. Especially with the, like, added chaos damage, right? Or the extra chaos damage. But it's, I mean, it kind of struggled a little bit against, like tier 4 last league. Like, the single target is a little low. So I was thinking, okay, how do we solve the single target? Well, what got Giga buffed that's just a fat hit that can also potentially hit, lead to a big poison. Well, Snipe, right? And the thing about Snipe is that it consumes freeze, right, to deal huge damage. And now I'm pretty sure they actually nerfed it. Let me see. Um, oh yeah, okay. So talk about this in a second, but anyway, snipe. Yeah. So this I'm pretty sure this was over 1,000 before. So I think they literally changed this already. Like if I go down here, they just did this earlier today. These changes. So snipe is one of the changes that they made, and I think they lowered this number a little bit. But I mean, it's still really high, right? And this is just level 20, right? You scale this. Um, at least 7 projectile levels, right? Because you get 2 on quiver, 3 with the nodes, and then maybe. I mean, I guess you could get it on your maybe not 7, maybe 5. No, because you can get what 5 on bow, right? So no, you can easily get 7, and then maybe actually 8 or 9 even, depending on the quiver effect. I mean, the thing is you don't need to invest too much. Let me go back to the DB. So the idea here is that you'd weapon swap bows, right? So some of this stuff is like whatever. Yeah, like don't worry too much about the details. A lot of these points is just to take full effect of the weapon swap and everything. Whatever. It obviously needs to be optimized like a lot. This is just kind of a general. But yeah, you take a bunch of these nodes, right? Quiver effect, projectile damage, basically. Because what you then do is you weapon swap, right? So right now I've got weapon swap 1, your wand with a bunch of gain is extra. Cast level spells doesn't. I just kind of threw some stuff on there. It'll be good for what's it called? Despair, maybe, right? That's just yeah. I don't know. Is that a spell? I think so. Anyway. Why is despair barrageable? What the heck? Or is that wrong? Yeah, it's a spell anyway. So you can scale despair pretty hard then. Obviously this is like I mean the rolls aren't best, but like I think these yeah, maybe gain mana instead of life is better, but life on kill is pretty nice for just survivability, whatever. But you don't really have mana problems, I don't think. You shouldn't. At least I don't right now, like on like Plague Bear and stuff. So yeah, but if you do, you can always get percent mana on kill on jewels, or just gain mana here on kill. Because you don't really care. Like it doesn't matter. Yeah, obviously the runes, the sockets are probably best. Like because that's the most gain is extra you can get, I think. Because it gives you. Yeah, it gives you 13 instead of like whatever 12 I think is what the other ones give. Right? So it goes up to 12 on LE damage. I know you can get like gain X of all elements, but you don't really care about that. Could be good actually. Maybe it's worth doing that instead. I thought you couldn't. Or maybe it's not on here. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, here it is. 6% of damage is all element. So if you get 3 of those, I mean it's good, especially if you're trying to like do the multi-ailment setup. I mean you kind of already do it with all the gain is extra on your wand anyway, as long as you're getting high rolls. These aren't high enough. You want higher, but I didn't want to. Like I said, I wanted to kind of lowball the damage. Can I skip this? It sounds awful. Okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Yeah, so obviously you want to get as high gain as like for example my wand in current Dawn of the Hunt is like 30, 30, 27 or something, gain is extra. Like tier 1, tier 1, tier 2. That's like the most important, obviously. So like yeah, you need as high as you want, but yeah, I'm just lowballing it a little bit. Yeah, chaos damage chaos level spell level is like luxury. Again, int is probably needed just to be safe. And you don't really need any other suffixes anyway. Like there's not really you're not scaling crit or anything, so who cares, right? Cast speed would be nice maybe, but you also don't really cast spells that well. Like the only spells you're casting is maybe like barrage, but that doesn't matter because it's on another weapon set probably anyway. I guess you could have them on both. And then like yeah, I guess despair, right, and stuff like that. So cast speed doesn't really matter. It's not gonna do much because plague bear is not a spell or an attack, right? So it only scales with skill speed, which is nice because monk gets free skill speed, right? Like all this is gonna feel great, right? And it's a little hard to path down here. Like it's not impossible, but it's a lot of points, right? You probably like megalo this or something or anointed or whatever, but it's kind of hard to give up. What is it? Where did here? Yeah, lasting trauma as an anoint. Like this thing is crazy. You need this. You need this. How hard is that to anoint, by the way? I actually don't know. Oh, not suffering is a little annoying. The other two are pretty easy. Okay, it's not bad though. Yeah, this is probably not necessary. It doesn't matter. Whatever. The details aren't important, but overall, the idea is you grab all the poison nodes. You want to keep the poison nodes on your main tree as much as possible. You can grab these tiny ones on the weapon swap just because you have extra points anyway. Alternatively, you could just. The thing is, you need all these extra points for snipe. Maybe you could drop like these 2 points. These 2 points are just excessive, to be honest. It probably you actually should not take this probably, and you should take like maybe you should put this on or you should path up here, right? If you take these are really only for this, right? You lose 3% of max life on an energy shield and chaos skill you use. So when you're mapping, right? Plague bear is a chaos skill, which is the main one you're using, right? So but if you have life on kill, you don't even need all of these. Maybe just like 2 of them. But whatever. Yeah, you need something to like, sustain, right? The 3% life, max life loss. So obviously, if you gain 3 to 4% max life, can you get life on kill on jewels? I think you can. I mean, you can get mana on kill, right? I don't know. I never really did it before because it wasn't necessary, but yeah, you can just take these nodes maybe. So ideally, maybe you drop some of these to path up there. Only thing is, it's like not useful on your offhand. Anyway, the weapon swap optimization is definitely something you can like finagle a little bit, but you probably want to drop these 4, and then I don't know what you would drop on the other weapons. Well, probably a couple of these nodes. Although you kind of do want all these chance of poison, right? So that you don't completely lose a poison chance on snipe. Obviously, you can run something like Ice Fang Orbit or whatever to get your poison chance even higher, or just put because you don't want to waste support gem slots on like Envenom or whatever. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this tree also like relies heavily on your armor or like body armor pieces, or not body armor, but like any armor gear to fill in defense, right? You got a few clusters of energy shield stuff, but it's a little tight on the defense. But you're taking, I mean, I don't know. They might nerf some of these nodes, right? Like Subterfuge Masks and Spectral Ward, they're pretty strong, especially this one, right? Like it basically gives you like almost the same amount of evasion as like a chest piece if you have a really good helmet, right? Like that's kind of crazy. So the idea is with Chonk, right? You're getting chaos as extra, right? You also get chance to inflict ailment. Also, you have gain as extra. So you're basically inflicting ailments on everything you hit, right? Like all 3 ailments on everything you hit. Which is why taking like these nodes here are not even bad, right? Pretty good. This is like a really like 40 or like shock durations, whatever, but like 20% increase 25% increase magnitude. Plus this one, so another 35%. It's not bad, especially because it's like Otherwise, what? You path down here, like here or something, and it's not worth. This doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is just chance, right? So, yeah, there's not really anything better to take. I path through the cold pen side. I'll explain in a second, but basically the idea is for single target to what's it called? I kind of want to make sure. What was it? Oh yeah, for a single target, the idea is to weapon swap bows, right? Wait, let me see. Item. Oh, yeah. So I mean, this is average hit. This is with the config setup, right? And 0 chaos res, right? So like if you're fighting King in the Mist, it's obviously gonna be different, right? Distance 2. I mean, when you're fighting a boss, you're always gonna be standing just to take advantage of like close combat if you put that on, because it's pretty easy scaling. Or this thing, right? It's so strong, right? 25% damage with hits, 12%, 12%. Like it's just good, right? Especially because this is purely single target, so it's pretty easy to stand that close, right? Like you just set up and blast, right? Because what you're going to be doing, in order to benefit off the snipe proc, let me see if I can pull it up. Wait, what? Okay. Where is it? Okay, yeah, snipe here. So this is Icy Blast, right? So this is when you hit a frozen enemy, right? Oh, it consumes freeze. Wait. Channel, release to explode impact, consuming freeze, or hitting it. Enhances the explode. Okay, so you have to. Does it auto consume the freeze? It doesn't have consumption tag anywhere. But it probably does, right? Because it says consuming here. So that means you can't use that one support gem, which I think I have socketed. So I need to take that out. Biting Frost. Which is kind of bad. That's like a lot of damage missing. Anyway, whatever. You can always put something else in there, like, yeah, literally anything. There's a bunch of new gems coming, right? So, okay, but the idea is on single target, you swap single target, freezing salvo into freeze the boss, and then snipe, right? So that you get this freaking explosion, actual tactical nuke. Because I think this is gonna scale like crazy, right? Yeah, especially when you get projectile levels on it, right? And you might be wondering, well, how do you freeze the boss instantly? Well, and here's actually a good question, because I don't know if Escape Shot would be better because of the massive freeze buildup. I don't know. My gut is freezing salvo. One, it just does more damage, so you get more freeze buildup because you're doing more damage, right? But I don't know if that's enough to make up for that. I don't know. And you're also firing all the missiles, right? So that each one gives more, and you can scale this. It'll scale well with the bow and all the nodes and stuff, right? And it's like a good weapon swap skill, right? Because it takes time to charge up or whatever. So you might have to sit in Grace. I think this charges when you're sitting in Grace for like pinnacles and stuff. Because the main use is pinnacles. Like you'll one shot map bosses with Plague Bear anyway. But the question is like, how do you deal with like T4 bosses, right? Or like the new Uber Arbiter or whatever. And the idea is, yeah, you insta freeze them with freezing salvo, and then you blast them with snipe. And the thing is, freezing salvo, I think the key is going to be Embitter, right? So Embitter makes it so that all your gain as extra, it becomes cold, right? So all the volatility gain is extra as chonk. This is gonna take a lot of setup, by the way. So if you hate that kind of stuff, then this is obviously not for you or anything. And honestly, it might be a little hard to pull off even. So I'll have to test it because it needs a lot of time, right? So this might not necessarily work against a lot of bosses. I mean, most bosses have a good amount of setup, like time allowance of for setup, especially Zesh and like King of the Mist and stuff like that. Olroth maybe not as much. Well, no, he does. They basically all do. And once you get it down, so basically what we're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to cast Arcane Tempo, or no, what is it called? Arcane Storm or whatever. Arcane Tempest. Mana Tempest. I don't know. Whatever that one skill is that lets you empower your Ember Fusillades. And this is where, like, yeah, so we gotta be a little careful here because we can't have, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 3 more. So yeah, Ember Fusillade, mana, what is it called? Let me just add them. Is it called Mana Tempest? Yeah, Mana Tempest. Ember Fusillade. Yeah, you'll have these on weapon set 1. Playbearer needs to be on both, by the way. Playbearer needs to be on both. That means minus 30 spirit across the board, which is not that big of a deal. Weapon set 1, you can put it, because you can't use it on the, I guess you could, it doesn't really matter. But, I mean, maybe that's actually an argument for cast speed on your wand, actually. So maybe cast speed is good, instead of like the life on kill or mana on kill or whatever. Especially if you're taking these life on kill nodes, you don't need it, right? Percent life on kill, because it's percent max life on kill. So yeah, let me go ahead and edit that actually. Let's just to remind myself. Let's see, cast speed. I think that's base, right? Save. Okay. No. Okay. So the idea is basically you stack up, Mana Tempest, Ember Fusillade, right? You get super juicy volatility, right? Really quick. Because you use that one, what's it called? Let me do it in here. What is that one called? Volatile Power, I think? Yeah. Yeah, I think you gotta put this on Ember Fusillade, right? Volatile Power, right? So that when you cast a skill, right, you gain 5 volatility on use while they're empowered, right? Yeah, I think that's the tech, right? I believe so. Volatility. You don't care about that. I think that's it. I think that's all you care about. Maybe, I mean, Arcane Tempo is dropping, right? But there's got to be some. Arcane Tempo, and yeah, that's it. Something like that, whatever the Arcane Tempo replacement is. Oops. Let's see, right? Something like that, right? This one is duration, I think. No, it's not. Oh, okay. It's just infinite. Okay, never mind. I don't really use spells, to be honest, so I'm not super versed in it. But anyway, so the idea is, yeah, whatever the tech, there's a video about it somewhere. There's a video about it somewhere. Detect to generate volatility in boss rooms and stuff. Um. So yeah, you set that up. Then what you do is all that added volatility. It lasts for 10 seconds, right? So in that 10-second window, um, you cast, what's it called? Why am I just blanking on the? Oh yeah, yeah. So you weapon swap, right, and then you cast. What's the magic? Freezing salvo. I don't know why I'm forgetting. Okay, freezing salvo. I'm just like, anyway, my mind's like a little. I don't know. Whatever. Embitter. So all your 200% and whatever, maybe you picked up some flames or whatever. So like 200 some percent damage as extra gets converted to cold damage, right? So this thing is dealing like a ton of cold damage. You support it with like cold infusion, even more cold damage, right? You don't care about the elemental damage loss, right? Ideally, you get flat cold on your bow. Let's see. Yeah, so your bow, you probably want flat cold. You just want to scale fit. Like I'll talk about this in a minute. Anyway, you get flat on your bow and quiver. Ideally, you get flat cold, right? So you're basically going to be doing a lot of cold damage, and then glaciation, ice bite, cold pen, right? Just obvious stuff, right? When you freeze, you'll gain more cold damage. And ideally, this freezes like everything instantly, like 100% freeze buildup, even on bosses. That's going to be the hard part though, is to really get that. And to get that, I have some nodes on the tree. Like the gain is extra is going to help a ton, right? Like 200% as extra cold damage is like crazy, you know. Like I feel like it's definitely doable, especially with all the support. Freezing salvo, you get so many hits, right? So and each hit, each projectile and everything, like it's all gonna be like massive. And then you take nodes like this, right? 20% increase freeze buildup, 20% increase freeze buildup, 10% increase cold damage. I mean, this is only on a non-weapon swap because of the point distribution. You probably don't need that. You could probably put something like this node just for extra stats or something. Anyway, because this cold damage isn't going to do anything. What was I saying? Yeah. So you get freeze buildup, you get cold pen, like whatever, a little bit, right? Freeze buildup here as well. Gain more damage as extra cold. You'll have the embitter convert, right? All that. And then what you do is hit barrage snipe, right? Like maybe the barrage is a little overkill, and maybe the setup is is a little too much. But we'll see. I mean, Mana Tempest, Ember Fusila, right? Just get your stacks up. Freezing Salvo, Barrage, Snipe. Right, so the mob's going to be frozen. So you have plenty of time to get your snipe off, right? Because it's frozen, it can't move, can't do anything. So, like, missing the snipe is probably going to be pretty low. Especially, like, once you get, like, the muscle memory down for the timing of the perfect timing. And you don't need to use the window of opportunity either. I think that's just... there's better ways. Like now that you can put a bunch more supports, there's better ways to get damage, right? Because it's only 35% more damage, which is like, I'd rather just run like Primal Armament and not worry about it, right? 25% more. Like 10% more damage is like something, but whatever. I mean, yeah. So you freezing salvo, right? Freeze the enemy into snipe. I didn't config. I know snipe guarantee crits, right? So it's giving me a bunch of crit damage, right? So that, but I'm expecting that to kind of like mimic the freeze consumption blast that it does, right? So I'm kind of leaving it there, and not like saying making it so I can't crit or anything, because like this damage is basically, it's pretty comparable, I think, to the crit, right? If not even more in some cases. Yeah. Anyway. And this does 100% increase damage to uniques, more damage against uniques, which is disgusting, right? Like, this thing is gonna, like, completely new. I mean, 100% more damage, like, we're talking, like, over 1,000. Like, yeah, it's disgusting. Anyway. I mean, I guess they did lower it, right? Like, what is it? Yeah. Explosion ideas, yeah. So, yeah, it's not quite that crazy, because before it was, a little bit over 1,000. Anyway, it's still gonna be nuts. if the linchpin here is getting the freeze off, right? Like 100% freeze, which I really think is possible with Embitter, and all that gain is extra cold damage. Um, and yeah, freezing salvo, right? Just all the hits, like a bunch of hits. This thing also is going to get scaled by your projectile levels, your projectile damage. All these are basically helping you freeze, right? Cold pen, cold infusion, glaciation, like all of those help you freeze, right? Ice bite obviously gives you a bunch of damage when you freeze, which means you're going to be hitting with snipe with the ice bite. And then snipe doesn't have embitter, to be clear, right? So all that gain is extras, is chaos damage, right? So then you hit, you hit with your wither because you're run withering presence or whatever, which I don't actually have. Actually, yeah. Let me. Okay, so I need to keep track because I don't want to. I don't want to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This doesn't count. So what is it? Withering presence. Yeah. This is obviously also going to be up. So that's 60 minus 60 spirit, right? The other spirit gem you can run to hit that 90 is like maybe Ghost Dance. Did that get changed? I actually don't remember. No. Yeah, so maybe Ghost Dance. Or maybe Wind Dancer or something. Yeah, something defensive, right? I don't know if you can run Arctic Armor. Maybe you could. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Some defensive thing, right? Because you don't need offense. And you can't really run anything else because you can't run Heralds. You can't really. Yeah, nothing else to run. So maybe I don't know. I don't know if you get enough strength to run a banner. But the banners are kind of gross, but that's just too much setup. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So your snipe is gonna go off, right? You're hitting with ice bite buff. You're hitting with because ideally, your volatility buff is still active, right? So you're hitting with 200% damages extra chaos. On top of the snipe freeze, the freeze explosion on snipe. You just freaking stack as much damage as possible. You get this thing disgusting. I mean, this is like, and keep in mind, this has like an 80% chance of poison without, like, right now, just with the tree nodes, and it's not even counting, like, because the tree, like, a lot of these are like chance of poison, right? Like this one, chance of poison, chance of poison, right? So you could have more, but if you get those on like main tree, but you don't really need it. But I think where is it? Calcs, snipe, poison chance 78%, pretty high, right? High enough. You can push this up, right, with I don't know, items or whatever. Yeah, I'd be surprised if there isn't a veiled mod or something that interacts with poison in some way, like they. Anyway, whatever. Besides the point. Yeah, and of course, like, I guess. If snipe consumes the frozen, does this count? Because they're frozen when you hit, right? So non-negative. So you ignore their cold res, right? Or I guess Ellie res. You just ignore their Ellie res, so that would be huge. So any of your extra, like, gain is extra Ellie res, like, or Ellie damage, like ambrosia or whatever, or on flat damage on your rings and weapon, it's just gonna get ignored, potentially. Hopefully this works. I still think you take it for freeze build up anyway, but yeah, and then of course 50% increased damage against frozen enemies. I'm pretty sure these two count. I don't know. I hope they do, because that's a lot of damage, right? Like 50% increased and just completely ignoring Ellie res, like that's huge. So basically, yeah, your snipe, if you scale it properly, is gonna do a butt ton of damage, like a lot of, like, just one shot pinnacle bosses, I think. And here's the thing, right? So you're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be Deadeye League. You need bows. That means, why weapon swap to bows are gonna be expensive, right? Well, one, weapon swapping is just better in general, right? Like, it's so much easier with no weapon swap speed, right? And as soon as you finish casting snipe, and the enemy's not frozen anymore, You know, they might get insta stunned, they might get insta killed, whatever. If they don't, well, you can just swap and press Plague Bearer, right? Or just yeah, or just press Plague Bearer without the swap, because it's not going to be on your swap because you can't. That way it can store up the damage just in case, right? Um, yeah, so that's going to do a lot of damage, right? So basically, yeah, you should have enough single target damage to just blow up any boss with this setup. But, you know, weapon swaps are better, right? They're easier to do because the weapon swap speed is gone. They're just OP anyway. And also, like, here's the thing. You're near the ranger to start, so pathing here, you're pathing here anyways, right? These poison nodes, you need them. So getting these, like, quiver nodes and projectile damage nodes is, like, really easy because you're right there anyway. So weapon swapping that is very good, so obviously a plus. If you're talking about big hit skills, Snipe is one of the few that actually has, like, a huge number on it. So, which helps a lot with poison, right? Because it cares about the damage of your hit. And of course, you're taking Plague Fingers, so you're poisoning with literally all your damage. So yeah, you're gonna be dealing big poison damage, even on something like Freezing Salvo is probably gonna do, because that'll poison for sure. Anyway, yeah. So you weapon swap to a bow, right? But you know, you're playing Snipe. That's really all you care about. Freezing Salvo, like, I don't know if does the projectile limit on Freezing Salvo care about, like, projectile and bows, like Gemini bow plus, you know, plus projectile. I don't know. You probably do get more projectiles, right? More arrows. But you don't need that on Snipe, right? You don't really care because the one arrow is going to be enough anyway. And if you get two, you'll miss because of the way that it splits, right? And so you need three. You need 3 plus 3 projectiles, some either by socket or whatever. In which case you're losing damage anyway, because those 3 they're not even gonna hit the boss unless it's a big hitbox, right? And some of the bosses don't have a huge hitbox, right? Like Arbor hitbox isn't giant, right? Kingdom Mist is, like, kind of big. Zesh is kind of big. Whatever. But I don't know if you're hitting with all 3 Snipe arrows anyway, right? I don't know. Is Snipe even? Surely, anyway, I don't know, whatever. It's not important. The point is, you can get away with a much cheaper bow. Like, these are going to be, one, you play Toxic Quiver, right? No, who uses Toxic Quiver? They're going to be cheap. Nobody uses them, right? Unless you're like a Poison Arrow build, which there might be some, but it's very small, very small. I mean, maybe there'll be more because of the Toxic, what is it called? Toxic Growth? Toxic Growth is really cool, actually. But, yeah, so you just get, you know, chance of poison. That way your Snipe has, you know, higher chance of poison. You don't really care about anything else. You're not scanning crit, so you don't care about the Visceral Quiver, attack speed. You don't really need it. Doesn't matter. I mean, I put it on these weapons because there's nothing better, and, you know, maybe it'll help your Snipe get off faster, right? And whatever. Like, I think attack speed does affect charge up time, right? On the Snipe. Could be wrong. But yeah, so it might help the timing there. It might mess up your timing too if you have too much attack speed, right? And it doesn't really matter because, yeah. Anyway, it's just on here because there's nothing better really to take. So you already take all you care about on the suffixes is projectile level, and yeah. By the way, this quiver is 1 projectile level. This bow is 3, right? So you can obviously, like, I think 3 is max for bows, right? 3, or is it 5? I think it's 5 actually. It's gotta be 5, right? Yeah, it's 5. So. Or is it? Yeah, it's 5. Anyway, so let's just say, yeah, this is just, like, one hit, like, not accurate really, because it's not accurately capturing all your support gems and all this kind of stuff. It's, don't worry too much. The point is it's big. Like, if you look on PoB and you look at anyone who's running Snipe, their hit number is not this high, right, on Snipe. It's just not. It's not even close, most of them are like 50k or whatever, right? Right, because you gotta take into account, like, it's the arrow, it's the explosion, you know, like, there's a lot anyway, this is why I don't really like PoB, especially PoB, for PoE 2, like, because it's not super accurate anyway. There's a lot of stuff it doesn't take into account, and then obviously, like, it's just a mess to get accurate calcs. You gotta do all kinds of funky stuff, right? You gotta do all this, whatever. So I just kind of, like, eyeball it a little bit, and if it hits like certain numbers, like I usually try to play with like I don't build everything out because it's just too much work and there's no real point. Because if you hit certain numbers, you have an idea and you're like okay, I'm hitting this number on this gear, then I'm probably fine because I don't have rings, I don't have an amulet. Um, these are not like max roll, like you know what I mean. So and like yeah, skills are they even max? Okay, it's max level max, but not even max quality, right? I don't remember what the quality of snipe does, but okay. The point is, it might affect. Does it affect timing window or something? I don't know, or damage or whatever. Doesn't matter. The point is, this is not min max at all, and you're already hitting like this number is really solid, right? Right, and that's not even including the poison damage, right? Like, I mean, let's just say you're doing a lot of damage if this works, and you get all the setup right. So the point is, yeah, you don't need an insane like you need a good bow, but not like the ones that all the Deadeyes are going to be playing, right? Because they're all going to be looking for Gemini bows, with extra arrows and all that, and like flat lightning and like all that. What you care about is you just care about a big physical damage bow. So Warmonger bow is highest damage numbers, right? You just get as big of a fizz percent as you can get. Flat fizz is good. I don't have it. I didn't put it on this bow because whatever, who cares? Like this is just for demonstration purposes. But yeah, flat fizz, flat cold obviously will help with the freeze and the cold damage. Yeah, and then projectile levels, dex, just to make sure, if you're trying to hit attribute requirements, which are better, and you're gonna be scaling dex anyway, so it shouldn't be an issue at all. But just in case, right? Like, there's nothing better to take on the suffix anyway. Because this is purely for single target, right? So you don't care about like mana on kill, whatever, life on kill. Who cares? Same with quiver, right? Just flat fizz, damage with bow skills, flat cold, like anything like that. Just raw damage, right? Raw damage and projectile levels. That's all you care about. Just because you're trying to get like a fat single snipe arrow, like as big as you can get, just a giant hit. So this gear, at my point, this gear will be cheap. It will not be expensive because people do not want these bows. Like, do not want this quiver. They don't want. I mean, maybe some people want this bow, but if it's not giving like what is it called? Because like I mean, think about the market. Like, every skill just wants more arrows, right? So they're always gonna play Gemini bows, pretty much always. Like, their concoctions don't care about your bow anymore. So these kind of bows aren't gonna sell most of the time. So you could probably snag them for pretty cheap. Same with the toxic quiver, right? Nobody wants the toxic quiver base. Unless you're playing poison, which even then you really don't want because your poison chance is probably capped. If you're playing a poison build, right? Like through tree and other stuff. So you do not really care about this, I think. The only reason we care about this is because we're using a weapon swap, so it's not really feasible to cap our poison chance. So it'll help just to get the poison chance a little bit higher, right? And I guess you could probably finagle the tree a little bit, like mess with it just to get like that kind of stuff running. I hope my audio is okay, by the way. Like, let me check. Test. Yo, can I hear? Let me turn this off for a second. Yo, test. Test 1 2 3. Come on. Yeah, it's fine. We're chilling. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not like spewing all this crap for it not to even be picking up what I'm saying. So this is kind of more for me to like mark it and remember it anyway, like so I can like look back and check it out what I've done. When we're on like the 10th league or whatever, and I can look back and look at the first league and be like, oh, this is what I did. Yeah. Oh, frick. Where was I? What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Yeah. So my point is the bow is not gonna be expensive. You could, yeah, like you said, you could probably like put some of these chance to hit nodes, but I don't know if you need to on the main tree. It's a little tight is the problem. Because, yeah. Ideally you all um ideally you do all this stuff. Yo 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 yo. Oh my god, I can't spell. Um. So yeah. Basically that's the gist of it, right? Like I think this is what I'm going to league start. And in terms of the actual league start, like obviously you can't run this until you get the right setup. So this is going to be like an end game swap. Um, but in terms of like actual like level one, like what do you play? Well, I mean, you still path through all this stuff, right? So what you do, I was practicing with spears. They feel okay. They're not too bad. Problem is, I doubt Stomping Ground is going to stay like a level one support gem. I'd be surprised. So I think there's no point practicing with it. I don't want to rely on it, right? It'd be insane if it does work. But so yeah, that's about it. Basically. Yeah, leveling. I think it's gonna be crossbows until you get like Tempest Flurry or whatever, and then you just quarterstaff it through with like an actual quarterstaff, not hollow palm, because that's probably not gonna do enough damage to carry you to endgame easily. Uh, um. Yep. So that's about it. I'm gonna end there because I'm gonna chat with yeah with my friend so about this build because yeah he's the one who did the play bear part of the build and I'm kind of like taking it onto the Chailu monk and messing with this kind of stuff so yeah